Hello, this is the second video coming up on the topic Sale of Goods Act. Yesterday we have discussed about the formation of the contract of sale of goods. Today we will look into the essentials of the contract of sale. So for a contract of sale, the first essential element requirement is that there has to be two parties. There have to be two parties. One is seller and the other one is buyer. As you all know, seller is a person who sells the goods and buyer is the person who buys the goods. Then the second essential requirement for the contract of sale is price. So there should be price, that is the goods which are sold by the seller to the buyer, that is transfer of goods, or if the seller agrees to transfer the goods to the buyer, that has to be for price. So price is the second requirement of contract of sale. Then the third requirement is goods. So goods, yesterday we have discussed what kind of goods are covered under Sale of Goods Act. I have already pointed out that water, gas, electricity, patent, copyright, trademarks, old currency notes, all these come under the Sale of Goods Act. So goods is another essential requirement in contract of sale. Then we need to have delivery. So delivery of goods. So delivery means possession from seller to the buyer. So here the ownership rights are transferred from the seller to the buyer. That is what delivery is. Then the next essential requirement of contract of sale is all the essentials of a valid contract have to be uh, complied with. So what are the elements of valid contract? So that is discussed under section 10 of Indian Contract Act 1872. Like the person who enters into contract must have attained the age of majority. He should be of sound mind. Then the contract entered into must be for lawful object. Then it should be for consideration. Then it should be for public policy. So on and so forth. There are uh, essential uh, essentials of valid contract which have to be complied with even for the contract of sale, that is sale of goods. Then other than this contract can either be absolute or it can be conditional. So this also we have looked discussed in the previous clipping. So having known about the essentials of contract of sale, the next important topic we need to take up in essential in Sale of Goods Act is conditions and warranties. So what actually are conditions and warranties in Sale of Goods Act? So conditions and warranties, they are the stipulations made by the parties at the time of entering into the contract. So what are the stipulations? So stipulations means the terms, conditions, rules that have to be followed by the parties. So they are called as stipulations. So condition means it is very important for the main purpose of the contract. If this is not fulfilled, conditions are not fulfilled, the remedy for the party, that is remedy for the buyer, is to repudiate the contract. He can repudiate the contract, which means he can reject the contract and he can get back his money, that is his price. That is the remedy available in case of breach of conditions. So Whereas warranty, so warranty means it is an assurance given by the seller about the state of the products described or prescribed are genuine by the seller. So this is what warranty is. So when compared to conditions, warranties are not much importance. So what is the remedy whenever there is breach of warranty? So whenever there is breach of warranty, the remedy available is claim of damages. They can only claim for damages but cannot repudiate the contract or get back the price or money. Suppose in case of condition, if the condition is like, if the buyer says that he needs 500 box of chalk pieces, so there he mentions the purpose, the buyer mentions the purpose. What is the purpose? The purpose is that the chalk is needed not to write on board but to write it on some wooden uh, on wood or wooden plate. Then if this condition is not fulfilled, then he can repudiate the contract and get back his money. But whereas in warranty, if the suppose he gives the assurance in warranty, the assurance is like, this product will be in good condition for 6 months. So if there is any problem crops up within 6 months, then under such circumstance he can approach the seller, wherein the seller repairs it and gives it back to the buyer, but he does not have the right to repudiate the contract. He can only claim for damages. This is the remedy available in warranty. So in conditions and warranties are the two types of stipulations in the contract of sale. So conditions are and warranties, there are two types. Once again, expressed conditions and warranties and implied conditions and warranties. So expressed conditions and warranties are those which are expressed in writing or by word of mouth. But implied conditions, they are presumed by law that they are present in the contract even if they are not expressed by words. So this is implied implied conditions and warranties. So implied conditions are discussed from section 14 to 17 of Sale of Goods Act 1930. So the first implied condition is that section 14 says that there has to be clear title. This is the implied condition. What do you mean by clear title? The person who sells the goods must have clear title. Clear title means he must be owning that particular goods or property. Only then he can sell it. If that title is not clear, for example, if he is selling a stolen property, then the title is not clear, and if this happens, the buyer can repudiate the contract and get back his money. Which is the remedy for breach of condition. Then section 15 is about sale by description. So when seller says that the goods which he is selling have all the qualities or whatever description he gives about the goods, all such descriptions have to be there in the product which he sells to the buyer. If the description which he has prescribed or described does not match with the product which the buyer has purchased, then again the remedy is repudiation of contract. This is second important implied condition. Then section 16 we will take up later. Section 17 is about sale by sample. So sale by sample means the buyer selects or makes a choice of some sample. For example, it could be rice or it could be paddy or anything of that matter, and when he purchases, that is when the goods are delivered to the buyer, the original sample should be delivered to him. Original sample should be delivered to him. There should not be change, or there should not be mismatch in the goods. That is of sample and the what he has purchased. So this is the 16 section 17. Then section 16 is about caveat emptor, that is quality of fitness of the goods have to be looked into, checked by the buyer himself. So it is the responsibility of the buyer to be aware, which means the doctrine of caveat emptor, buyer be aware. So this doctrine is in favor of seller than in favor of buyer. So it protects the seller. So the buyer has to be careful. He has to check the fitness of the quality of the goods while purchasing. If anyways, this doctrine of caveat emptor has got certain exceptions, like if there is fraud or coercion involved in the contract of sale by seller, then buyer shall be protected. So similarly, in other cases, like if the buyer purpose of the goods, if he mentions the purpose of the goods and if the purpose is not fulfilled, then seller can be made liable. Under certain exceptional circumstances, he is protected. So this is all about conditions and warranties. So other than this, the next important thing that we need to take note of is about the rights and duties of seller and buyer. So the rights of seller are duties of buyer, and rights of buyer are the duties of the seller. So the first right of the seller is he has got the right to claim the price. So whenever the goods are delivered to the buyer, the seller has got every right to claim the price. Then he has got the right to claim the installment. If the terms and conditions of the contract of sale is the payment to be made on installment basis, then he has got right to claim the installment. This is the second right of the seller. Then the third right of the seller is he has got the right to claim damages. So when damages can be claimed by the seller, suppose if the buyer keeps on postponing the payment of the goods after the same has been delivered to him, then under such circumstances the seller can claim damages from the buyer. This is another right. Then the next right of the seller is the seller has got the right to sue or file a suit for non-acceptance of delivery by the buyer. So this is another right. Then the last right enjoyed by the seller is seller has got right to file a suit in case of breach of contract. So breach of contract is breaking the terms and conditions of the contract by the buyer. So these are the rights that are enjoyed by the seller. Then coming on to the rights of the buyer. So what are the rights of the buyer? So buyer has got every right. What kind of right? He has got the right to claim for special performance from the seller. So if he has placed an order for some special performance and the same has not been performed, he can claim for it. Then he has a right for the possession of goods, that is delivery of goods, transfer of ownership rights from the seller. This right is enjoyed by the buyer. Then buyer can file a suit for breach of contract by the seller. So on and so forth rights are enjoyed by the seller. Thank you.